Good evening, guys. Welcome to the session today. Hope you guys are doing good. Hope you guys can see my screen as well. Okay, let us start the session for today. So, okay, if you remember, we had seen what is a data lake, right? So we had seen what is a data lake in the Google Cloud platform. If you remember, Google Cloud Storage. Cloud storage is acting as a data lake where we can store any amount of data, any number of files. Okay, and it comes up with plenty of other benefits as well, right? So let us recapitulate what is that thing and we will proceed further. Yeah. Okay, let me open my OneNote. I will pay you the access to my notes, guys. It has all the information here if you wanted to recapitulate. So our thing is GCS, right? So if you can go and look at here. So what is GCS, guys? It's a fully managed service for storing a tape, any type of a data, any amount of data, any number of files. Okay, so to work with the GCS, we need to create a bucket, and a bucket is nothing but a container to store your data. Okay, how to create a bucket we have seen. So there are 5 to 6 things that we have to remember while we are creating a bucket, right? So we need to provide a globally unique name, and there are 3 types of locations. We have to select a proper location based on our availability as well as replication. So if you wanted to go for a replication and you want you to have your data highly available, you go for the multi-regional option. So that is one thing. And when you go to the storage classes, you have 4 options, that is standard, nearline, cold line, and archive. Okay, standard. If you wanted to frequently access your data, you go to the standard, okay, standard storage class. And if you wanted to access your data once per a month and once per a quarter and once per a year, you can select nearline, cold line, and archive. And for the access control, you have 2 options. One is uniform and fine grained. What is uniform, sir? Uniform is nothing but if you wanted to provide access to all the files inside a bucket, you provide a bucket level access, so that whatever the person you are providing access, he would be able to access all the files inside the bucket. So it is a bucket level access. It can be achieved with the help of the IAM that we have seen already. Okay, and one more thing is fine grained. What is a fine grained, guys? A fine grained is something that you have a bucket, inside that you have some files. You wanted to specify the access to the individual objects, then you go for the fine grained access. Fine grained access is nothing but access at a bucket object level. It can be achieved with the help of the ACL, nothing but a access control list. Okay, and after that we have also seen about object versioning. So if you enable this option, what happens is like you can able to store your older version of the data as well. A version of your older data as well, you will be able to store it here. Okay, that is also there. And what is the retention policy, sir? Your retention policy is something that within the mentioned retention period, you don't want anyone to delete or modify your data, you can go for the retention policy. Okay, so you put some amount of retention policy so that no one will be able to delete your data or modify your data. So that is one thing. And we have also seen, so this is something whenever you use any of the cloud platform, there are 2 costs associated. One is storage cost, one more is retrieval or processing cost. Okay, so until this one we have seen, right? So what next thing is that, so we have created a bucket with the help of a console. Right, we have created a bucket with help of the console. How to create a process or how to create a bucket with help of the Cloud Shell? So let us see that as well. Okay, yeah. So there are 2 types. If any wanted to work with the GCP, there are 2 ways, guys. One is web user interface, one more is command line tool. Okay, web user interface is a console, and command line tool is we can work from the Cloud Shell as a SDK. Okay, so these are all things are there, guys. Okay, so what is a Cloud Shell? Let us try to understand. Sir, we now know console is something a user interface where it can be achieved with the help of the user clicks or a drag and drop. So that is what I call as a console. But what is this CLI or command line tool or nothing but our Cloud Shell? Okay. So it is also very important, guys. So a Cloud Shell is nothing but a command line tool, guys. The very first thing it is command line tool. Okay, when I say command line tool, it is not a user interface. If you wanted to interact with this particular machine, you need to provide your commands. Okay, you have to provide some kind of a command so that it will be you will be able to interact with that particular machine. So Cloud Shell is a one of the small Linux operating OS, small Linux machine you can think of. That's it. Okay, so it is one of the small Linux machine, guys. So Linux operating machine. So it comes up with the Linux operating machine. So if you wanted to work with this Linux operating machine, you should know the Linux commands. Okay, so this is one thing. And what is this? So why we need to learn about the Cloud Shell? Because it's very important for us to do. For example, if someone is good at a console, they will be able to working with from the console. If you are good at a command line tool, you will be able to work from the command line tool as well. It's a way of interaction, guys. So we should know about this one as well. Very important because when you wanted to automate your data. Okay, so this Cloud Shell is a Linux operating machine and it comes up with a 5 GB storage. So if you wanted to store your some amount of data in the Cloud Shell, it has until 5 GB. That means for I mean maximum you can able to store 5 GB of the data only. So that is one thing. Okay. And one more thing I want you to tell you is like it has a language support. Languages support. So you will be able to work with Python from here. You'll be able to work with SQL. You'll be able to work with Java, Go, R. So it has a language support to all of these languages, guys. Okay, you can able to work with the Python. You can able to work with the Java. You can able to work with the SQL as well. So this is one more thing. So the very first thing, whenever you wanted to work with the Cloud Shell, first you need to activate it, guys. So what we do is like, what is this shell and where we can find this shell option to activate it and how to work with this Cloud Shell. And the main thing is like, we will try to create a bucket with the help of the Cloud Shell and what are the commonly used Cloud Shell commands and all of those things we will see now. Okay. Okay, guys, let me go to the, this is my console, guys, and I have already told you that if you go to the right side, there will be an option here, activate Cloud Shell. Okay, so this is an option where you will be able to activate your Cloud Shell. I'm clicking on this one. When I click on that one, you will be able to see at the bottom of my screen, you will be able to see some machine is provisioning your Cloud Shell machine. Okay, a terminal will be opened for us now. Okay, so this is how it is, guys. Okay, and whenever you are working from the console, the very first thing you do is like select your proper project. Likewise, whenever you are inside your Cloud Shell also, if you wanted to work with any of the service and you select a proper project. Okay, there can be a plenty of projects, right? So we need to select a proper project here. For that one, the command is already written here. Okay, so G cloud config set project is G cloud config set project. So you provide the project ID. So you come here, you wanted to work with this project, you select this project, or you wanted to work with this project, you select this project. I wanted to work with this project, guys. So I am selecting this project ID. This is a project name. This is your project ID. So now I come here and paste it. So I'm going to ask you to authorize it. Because I'm a man, not a machine, right? So that is how. see here updated property. That means we have selected a project where we wanted to work. Now, so let us now see how to create a bucket from the Cloud Shell, because there are two ways that we can interact with the any of the thing in the Google Cloud Platform. One is from the console, one is via Cloud Shell, right? So let me go to cloud storage here. Okay, so before that, meanwhile, now we wanted to shell to cloud storage. So this is what we wanted to, right? So we need to interact from the cloud shell to the cloud storage. Cloud shell to the cloud storage, right? So for that one, people call some commands are there. All those commands will start with the gsutil option. So that's the reason the command will be gsutil commands. People call it as a gsutil commands, guys. Why they are calling it as a gsutil commands? Because all the commands to interact from the cloud shell to the cloud storage are start with the gsutil. So that's the reason they're going to call it as a gsutil commands. Okay, let me put the commands here list. Okay, sorry. Okay. Okay, I'm pasting it here, sir. You will be able to see here. Okay, so these are the list of commands, guys. I am pasting here. So all of those commands, if you see clearly, all the commands are starting with the gsutil. Okay, so that's the reason they are calling as these commands are gsutil commands. This is one of the question in the AS exam. So what are the commands gsutil commands are for? So to interact with the Google Cloud Storage. Okay, so this is what it is. Now you will be able to see all the options here to create a bucket, to delete a bucket, to move a file, to create a file, to upload a file, download a file, list all the buckets. All of the options are there, right? So let us start from this one. Okay, so for creating a bucket, you see here gsutil mb, and the bucket name we have to provide it properly, right? So let me go here. So I have here almost 4 buckets are already there, guys. You see here already 4 buckets are there. So let us try to create a one more bucket now from the cloud shell. We now know gsutil. Okay, you'll be able to see here, guys. Create bucket means gsutil mb, and the bucket name should mention in a proper format. So gsutil, let me increase the size, guys, so that you will be able to see terminal text size, and I want it to be large. Yeah, so it's easy for you to see. So we were having already 4 buckets. Let us try to create a one more bucket. gsutil mb, and the bucket name is gs. Okay, I wanted to provide the bucket name as bucket 01 test 01023. Okay, so this is what is a bucket name I wanted to create, guys. So I'm trying to create a bucket. You see here, I have created a bucket here already. Okay, you will be able to see here. See here, somewhere it is already created. You see, bucket test 01023. That means this is how we can able to create a bucket from your cloud shell as well. So one thing that is clear is that, so whenever you wanted to interact from your with any of the services, there are 2 ways. One is via command line tool, one more is via user interface. Okay, UI tool and command line tool. Now we have created a bucket. So if you wanted to do some operations, okay, so that kind of operations can also be done here. So for example, think like this. You have here, if I go to this particular bucket, this was a bucket which I have not created just now, But what I wanted to do is like, so this is a bucket which I have created earlier. I wanted to move this file from this bucket to the bucket which I have created here. So this is my bucket, right? Newly created bucket. So from here, so from this particular cloud storage batch at bucket 2, I wanted to go that file to this one, copy that file. So for that one, you will also be able to see some commands here for copying it. So this is a command, sir. For copying it, gsutil copy -r the file name from to the bucket. So this bucket. So this bucket to that bucket. So when you wanted to do that, so what you can do is like a gsutil copy, and what is your bucket here? This is a file, right? I'll go here, and what is the file URL? So this is a URI for that file inside the inside your Google Cloud platform, right? Copy this one, paste it here. This is your file, and copying from this particular folder and file to where we are copying to this bucket. Okay, while copying, I wanted to create a copy underscore file folder. Inside of that folder, I have to copy this particular file. What I wanted to do, sir, this particular bucket has this file which I wanted to move from this bucket to this bucket. While doing this operation, I am creating a one more folder called copy file. Inside that, I want this file to be stored, copied. Whether you wanted to copy it or move it, that's up to you. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm clicking on enter now. You see here, the operation is completed. For that one, you go back. Okay, you go back and you again go back. The newly created bucket is this one. Inside that, copy file folder should be there. See here, copy file folder is there because we just created it. You can also see the timings as well. So it's not showing, but inside that it will show. It's a folder, and you will be able to see the file just now it is created 212509. Okay, so some 30 seconds back it is created. You see here, this is the file name, right? Some JSON file. Okay, so that is how we have copied from one bucket to the one more bucket. Any things can be done, guys. I'm telling you, if you wanted to do any operations, for example, you wanted to delete this file. I have this file is there, right? You wanted to delete it. For that one also, you can able to find a proper command. So you will be able to see that one. Delete file gsutil rm. That gsutil rm. What is your file path? The file path, for the file path, you go here. This is your gsutil URI, and copy this path and paste it here. Click enter. That's it. Okay, sorry, gsutil, sir. gsutil rm. Okay, enter. Delete it. That's it. Remembering. Okay, now if you go and try to refresh it, this file will not be there. Gone. The folder is there. Okay, the folder is there, but inside the folder there is no file. Okay, so that's how it is, guys. Okay, refresh it. Okay, so this is how you will be able to delete a file from this particular folder or a particular file or a particular bucket, everything. You can move a file from one bucket to the another bucket, and you wanted to delete a file, or you wanted to create a file, or you wanted to view the file. For example, I'll go to some other bucket. So for example, whether if I have any CSV files somewhere. Okay, seems like this is deb, this is SQL, this is SQL, this is SQL. Again, all of these are SQL. So I can, that is also fine. SQLs also we can able to see it. So gsutil, if you wanted to view the data, actually it is not gsutil, cat and the file path. Okay, what I'm doing, sir, I wanted to view the data. To view the data, cat the data. Cat means view the data. gsutil cat. The file name is this one. If I wanted to see this file, what is inside this file? Okay, when you wanted to see, enter it here, that entire details will be shown here. You see here, it is having these many comments. That SQL file will having these many comments are there. If it is a CSV file, you will be able to see some data. Okay, I'll go back a little more back, and somewhere I'll be having some CSV files also. Okay, you see here, I'll copy this path and I'll show you how the data looks like. Okay, GS util cat, this is a path, enter. Okay, you see here, it is a CSV file. The data will be shown here in this CSV file. This is this many columns are there. This is how the data looks like. Okay, so this way you can able to view the data as well. You can copy the data, you can create a file, you can upload a file, you can download a file. For example, if you wanted to upload a file, okay, upload a file to your particular bucket, that is also there. For example, think that, so ls is a command to see the data inside this Cloud Shell machine. ls is a command to see all the files inside your Cloud Shell machine. Okay, in my Cloud Shell machine I have this file. Okay, if I wanted to upload this file to one of the bucket, that is also can be possible, sir. That is also can be possible. For example, I wanted to copy it to this particular folder only. Okay, so for that one, what I will do, I will, okay, you can also see the command here, guys. So upload a file. Upload a file. So copy to this particular. So gsutil cp, and what is the file name? This is my file name, and I will paste that the file name to this bucket, right? I will copy this one. See here, I do not have any folders here. If you wanted to just copy, you can just mention this one. If you wanted to create a folder also while doing the copy, you can also mention that folder. So now I just wanted to copy it, guys. So that means MySQL bq.py should be there here also now. So you refresh it. Okay, I think it should come.
It's thrown error. OS error.
Oh, it's an error. Oh, is it? Copying file, that is fine. OSC error is a directory 1.8 KB. Oh, sorry guys, sorry. See, whenever we wanted to do it, we should mention this is a bucket, right? We should go with a proper format. Okay, now it will be done. Okay, so now it will be done. So you will be able to refresh it now. Okay, see here, copy just now. So this is how, whatever the activity that you wanted to do, you can able to do it, sir. You wanted to, usually if it is a manual activity, what you do, you delete this file from, so for example, manually if you wanted to do, how you will do it, sir? You wanted to copy that data which is there in this one to this one, copy all the files. Okay, copy all the files from this one to this one. If you wanted to do it manually, it is not possible. It takes a lot of time. If you wanted to do that with the help of the command line tool, it is very easy. You just write some couple of code, 2 lines, 3 lines, it will be automatically doing that activity. So commands are the commands or the scripts or whatever it is, the languages are more faster than the user interface. Okay, first time it can be little hard, but later time the reusability will be very high. Okay, so this way you can able to interact with the cloud command line tool as well. Hope you got something today. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Any questions?
Hello, I am Devendra, sir.
Yeah.
Am I audible to you? Okay.
Yes.
I just joined today's session.
There are two questions. Sorry, guys. There are two people talking. There is one more meeting is also going on. So one at a time. So let me ask some. Nearby Manjarkar is trying to talk. Yeah, you can talk first. Yeah.
So I can see that there is access control. It's a find. So if you create the any bucket from the Cloud Shell, so it's by default a find grade or It's you have to mention like that.
So by default, whenever you create a bucket from the this one, sorry, Cloud Shell, it is fine grained. You wanted to change it to the uniform, that is also there. I can tell you how to create a bucket with this standard storage class. By default, it is coming standard, right? You can also change this thing, or by default, it is coming access control as fine grained. That is also you can able to make uniform. So that options are also there. We just have to go to the public documentation and see it. So for example, usually this will be like this GS util, and you mention your project minus P as your project ID here. Okay, something like this. Okay, I'll try to tell you guys. So it's very easy. It's not that difficult. We can able to achieve all of those things. You will mention the project ID here, space. You wanted to mention C is nothing but a storage class. You have mentioned that is a standard, right? You wanted it in nearline. You can also mention here nearline. Okay, that is also fine. And you wanted to mention the location. If it is a region, you can mention regional. Or if it is a multi minus R minus L, I guess. After minus L, you mention a region. Okay, if it is a multi-region, you mention a multi-region. 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 After that, you wanted to mention this access control, right? Minus fine grained. Or if it is a fine grain, you can mention fine grain, or you can mention uniform like this. After that, you mention your bucket name like this. Okay, it is possible. Whatever you have mentioned, anything can be possible, guys. I'm telling you. You do some activity, that activity can be done achieved with the help of this one. Maybe little syntactically different, but this is way. So you mention minus P for project ID, minus C for the storage class, minus L for the nearline, and hyphen uniform, I guess, not one hyphen uniform, I believe. After that, you mention your proper bucket name. Okay. Yeah. This is the thing that we can do, guys. Okay. So yeah, one more person is also talking. Yeah, you can ask me now. Yeah, some Devendra, someone is right.
Yes, I was asking a question. That today I have started from today. I joined today's session. So as I know that there are the 4 batches has gone, right? Classes has gone. So how I would recover that sessions like?
So that yes, so it's very easy. So if you can just go and watch some 1.5 hour or 2 hours class of last 2 days, you will be able to cover it. So only 2 classes that we have spent on data store or data lakes. So what you can do is like you can connect with the team. They will send you the last 2 classes. That's enough. Okay, last 2 classes, that's enough, because we even that 2 classes also I have not spent a lot of time. Even this is a first week, right? So in the first week I wouldn't cover much. So from the next week onwards, I will be taking 1 hour, 1.15 minutes, or 1.5 hours sometimes. So that's how it will be. But in this first 1 week or 2 weeks, I will be able to just take only 30 to 40 minutes only, because it's a very new topic, right? So I don't want it to, provide a lot of information and people will be and worried about learning all the things, right? Let us go very smooth. Yeah. So only 2 classes completed. So those 2 classes I would try to tell you. Okay. For example, so this is our agenda, guys. So we are starting here. In this one, we have 2 things. One is console. The only thing that you missed is console. That's it. In the console itself, I have mentioned almost all the topics related to the location, how you have to select the location, and inside the access control, how you have to select the access control type, and if it is the storage class, how you have to select the storage class, and the examples also I have given. So go and watch that. So that would be enough, and from today's you can able to continue, and tomorrow is again a new topic itself, RDBMS. So you need not to worry about. Yeah.
Okay. So the timing is the fixed, right? And
yes,
and duration would be?
It's gonna go up to 40 plus hours, guys. Yeah.
40 hours means like it's around 2 months or maybe or less than
2 months, I would say.
Okay. Okay, and the recording would be the lifetime or maybe some duration?
No, recordings you will get it every day, and there won't be anything like that. And if you are, the class timings are also same, 8, 9 to 10 every day, and recordings will be shared, and 40 hours, I believe, 40 mostly with the projects also we have covered here. I have mentioned the projects also. When you look at the topic wise, you will be able to see the projects here. So these projects also we have covered. Someone is asking a mandatory or any, prerequisite for the language prerequisite, right? So you can able to learn SQL, guys. SQL is very much important for this course. Okay, if you are having a intermediate or basic knowledge on the SQL, that is fine. Okay, we will be able to build your career as a data engineer. And someone is planning for the certification also, they can go for it.
Yeah. Actually, I'm planning to give that cloud architect exam. So be next month. So it would be helpful for me if I join that course.
Yes. So yeah, guys, I can hear you. One more person I'm talking here already. So what he is asking is like, he's asking whether I can go for the certification with this course. So yes, of course, with this course, you can able to go for the cloud associate cloud engineer as well as professional data engineering certifications, guys. Already previous of my students also already they have gone for this one, and they even yesterday also one of my student achieved this digital leader certification as well. Yesterday only she told me that, sir, I have achieved this certification, and she also given me some a few questions, and as well as how the question pattern was. So that is also I'll be able to share it with you, and I'm telling you, you can able to go for the certification for sure. Whoever is going for the certification, just let me know. So I will also send you some information, some questions related information from my previous students, as well as the one, even I have taken my PDE late, renewed my PDE certification 2 months back. So I will also share you some information on that as well. Okay. Yeah. One more person is talking. You can ask me now. Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, is it audible?
Yes, you can. I can hear you. You can talk now.
Yeah. Actually, you told me SQL is enough, right?
Correct.
But I heard that in all the clouds we have to learn Python.
Of course. So Python is important. So SQL is intermediate knowledge, and Python is if you know the data types, because we are already covering the Python here. So most of the data pipelines, how you create a data pipelines, how you process it. PySpark language we are learning, so it is familiar.
Is it mandatory below this class?
SQL is mandatory, guys. Python, it's fine. Even you joined the course and you spend some 2 days, 3 days learning about the basics, that's enough. Development knowledge we will be learning in our course already. SQL development also, PySpark development also we are learning in our course already. The only thing is like, I want you to be comfortable with the languages. That's it. You don't have to be, deep dive into the language and spend your waste your lot of many hours. That's not required. We as a data engineers, not a developers, right? We are not a Python developers here. We are not a Java developers. We wanted to process some data if it is in front of us. For that one, that amount of development knowledge I will provide you. That's not a problem. Yeah.
Actually, your good name?
My name is Shaik Saidhul. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, I am having around 10 years of experience.
Yeah. No problem. I have dealt with almost 12 to 13 years also in my last batch. So we have seen many people are going for this data engineering and PDA certification. It will be helpful. This is not that's not a problem.
No,
yeah.
Actually, I have 2 questions. Like one of my senior classes suggested that why can't you go for Google architect role? Can you suggest me how to choose the role here? He told me go for Google architect role in the GCP.
So architecture role is more of the one is like it's, you can think of, it's not, when I say an architect, it's not just one platform. It's, you need to be very good at Kubernetes, or you need to very good at application development. You need to be having a very perfect with your languages, and you need to be very perfect with your infrastructure building. So, and again, data engineering background, and again, deployment background. So many things are there. When you need to go for one architect level, it's something that you have to complete 3 to 4 certifications, before 3 certifications at least. You can able to go for database, you can go for the associate cloud engineer, you can go for the PDA, and then you can plan for architect. That is good. And there are few people who complete AS and they go for the architect because they already know the concepts, because they have been working in this platform. If you are also working in the same platform like Kubernetes, app engine deployments, and you know the how the business and projects go, if you have all that kind of a thing, then it's good for you to first go for the AS, then you go for the architect.
Yeah, got it. And finally, one more question.
Yeah.
Actually, last few months I'm in confusion like which cloud to choose. Sometimes AWS, sometimes Azure.
Yes.
And like that, I was in so much of confusion. So can you give me some points compared to this? Which one is best?
Yeah, this could be a question from many of the people here. So I'd like to ask you guys. So one of our friend is asking guys, like which cloud platform I have to choose here. So I'm going to tell you this one, guys. There isn't much difference when you go for a platform. It's like that we as a developers or we as a data engineers are the individual players. So we either work with the platform, either it can be a cloud platform, or we can also work with the on-premises. So, but when you come to the cloud platform, there are three. Now there are three major providers. One is the AWS, and one more is Azure, and one more is GCP. Now, why we are learning about the GCP, sir, when there is a very good market for the AWS as well as Azure? So that's a valid question. I would like to answer to that as well. So even though the AWS and Azure and GCP all are providing you the similar kinds of services with the different names, the underlying architecture is same. Okay. And the underlying architecture, if it is application development, how the Java developers was working in the on-premises is same, and how they are going to work in the cloud platform is also same. The only thing is like some interface kind of things will be different. But sir, I wanted to go for a very leading cloud provider so that I can able to be there for this. I can able to there stable for next 5-10 years. If you are in that kind of a mind, go for the. I would suggest Azure as well as Google Cloud Platform, because if you are starting your career in the cloud platform, because if you go to the AWS, the market is already very good, and there are plenty of professionals. If there are 1,000 jobs, 2,000 people are professional people are already available. So if you can able to compete with them, that's well and good. If you are unable to compete with them, go for the Google Cloud Platform or the Azure, because at the end of the day, you wanted to get a job and get your hands on for next 5-10 years, right? So Azure, even though if it is Azure also, that is fine, but the Google Cloud Platform nowadays is very leading. Even I come from Azure background, but I also teach Azure, guys. One more thing, I come from Azure background, but I feel like there is a plenty of demand for the GCP developers. Okay, GCP developer, data engineers, because Google Cloud Platform is providing you a services with lot more lesser comparatively AWS and Azure. So that's the reason most of the companies are moving towards the Google Cloud Platform. That's the reason I plan to start a course on this one. It's been like almost a year. We have been running more than 15 courses, 15 batches have been running in the GCP. So there is a very good demand now for the GCP. It would be there for next 5-10 years, I would suggest. I'm not saying that Azure will be there or not. Azure will also be there, AWS will also be there. But you as a person wanted to enter into the cloud platform with very little competition, GCP is the best thing, I would say. Yeah.
And one thing, main reason why companies are choosing GCP is due to the ML features only. That is one of the
ML feature is also there, and the cost perspective is also main advantage. And one more thing is a trust, guys. People have been using the Google products from the last 10 years, and they found it very easy to use, and also there is a trust built on them, right? So similarly, Google Cloud is also one of the Google products. So Google products is something that we wanted to try it out, right? So that's one of the people. That is also one of the mindset for many companies, I would say. And budget friendly. Yeah. Any other questions anyone having? So as I heard, Databricks is common in all cloud. How much PySpark and Python knowledge is required, guys? So Databricks is there in the Azure and in AWS and in GCP also with the different names, I would say. In GCP we call it the Databricks, sorry, Dataproc, and in the Azure we call it as a Databricks. Okay, but the underlying concepts is same. We gonna work with the PySpark and Python there. So mainly with the PySpark data frames, we are also having almost 6 to 7 classes on the PySpark itself. So you are going to learn a lot of things there. Yeah. All the concepts related to the PySpark processing will be, we are going to have a detailed discussions. So someone is asking, Terraform is mandatory in GCP? No, not for a data engineer, guys. Not for a data engineer. Terraform is not mandatory. Terraform is for those who wanted to go for an architect level, a DevOps team, infra team and DevOps team. They can learn Terraform. It's not required for us. Yeah. I started my career as a data engineer only. Even you can also call me, I am a data architect as well in my company, and I am a data architect. So what you are calling as a cloud architect. So architect is a position, and it's where you are belong to is something that you have to specify. Okay, and whether it is a application architect or data architect or different streams of that. Okay, guys. Anyone having any questions now? Okay, guys. Thank you all. Thank you for your time. We will meet at the same time tomorrow. Yeah. Thank you all.